In my opinion, there's really only about 4 or 5 spots that are worth grinding armorers and blacksmiths, especially on PvP. On PvE, it definitely opens up your world a lot more because you're far less after a bladesmith. You can get by with an edgesmith or tempersmith. But if you want the best chance of getting a shieldwright and a bladesmith, look no further than Mounds of the Dead. Yes, it's wildly contested on a multiplayer server, but it also has lots of room for activities and you can avoid people pretty easily. There's an obelisk located at the place, so there's easy access. Mounds of the Dead is here. I like to start off at this first mound and we head straight this way where we can find Work of the Lost Tribe, potentially, and Valfrey's the Hammer. Heading inside, there's also a great chance to find Delincias and named Berserkers because there's a guaranteed named Berserker spawn here, but Delincias wander around all of the time. In here, we can find another Valfrey's potential spawn. And if you want, in here has a carpenter who can be the good carpenter, but this is not to show on carpenters. Over at the second large mound, we can find a smelter and a potential another Work of the Lost Tribe spawn and a potential name Tanner. As they're not random crafting spawns, they're always those guys. It's much more reliable than a place like Seppumaru, but Seppumaru is also very good to go because there are so many random crafting spawns as well as a couple of dedicated armorer and blacksmith spawns. But there is one random spawn before we leave. Up here at Stargazer's Crest, you can potentially find Work or Valfrey's up here, as well as any other named Sumerian crafting thrall or archpriest. Seppumaru is great because the thralls here aren't aggressive unless attacked, and you can use the purple lotus orbs to knock them out from the rooftops pretty easily. I do have a separate guide that goes into all the different spawns here of the different random spawns, so I'll just show you the dedicated spawns and the ones that are located close by. Starting off here right by Conan's house, it's just down there. We can find an armorer spawn and some blacksmiths here. Hopping down the hill, right here we will find a couple more blacksmiths. Here are carpenters and sometimes a taskmaster just because they're there, I'll tell you. Right behind Conan's house here, you can find these guys. They can be random crafting thralls. I've found bladesmiths and shieldwrights here as well as the bow guys. And on the front side of Conan's house, we have another random spawn. I feel like I might as well mention this in here because I'm probably not going to do a dedicated smelter video, but you can get the only dedicated named smelter spot right here. Again, they can be any of the crafter spawns though. It doesn't have to be this spot. There is only one dedicated smelter spot in Seppumaru. And we just found a named Taskmaster. Huzzah. You probably already know by now to come to Sinner's Refuge because you can get some awesome bows from the guy at the end if he's an Azura dude, as well as some legendary armor. The Azura people can't be a bladesmith or a shieldwright, but you can find the random thralls in here being them. So, and there's a lot of little camps around the outside that are often them as well. Up over on this little cliff, I like to find named archer armors all the time. If he's going to spawn in, today he's a carpenter. Sinner's Refuge is located here. You can also dip into the summoning place. They do have blacksmiths in there, but it's a lot more crazy and less worthy unless you're looking for archpriests and or alchemists. If you're familiar with the channel, you probably would have heard me mention the Pagoda of Boundless Lust before. It's one of my favorite thralling locations, wildly uncontested, which is awesome. They no longer drop awesome armor, but you can go to the Dagon dungeon and get some of those dudes anyway. Coming here, there's a couple of campfires that we can check. This particular campfire on this side of the temple always has an armorer and a cook, and that armorer can be Bia, who is a temperite. Before we head into the temple itself, on the other side there is a campfire that can have anything crafter thralls at it, as well as Decado archpriests and Zath archpriests. And we have a third campfire, which again, similar situation. They will always be edgesmiths and temperites, but hey, if you don't have anything, it's better than nothing. And you can find a plethora of other awesome stuff while you're here. In the temple itself, there's a carpenter spawn and a armorer spawn, as well as a cook back there and an archpriest, as well as learning the Degeto religion. The Black Galleon can be a little bit tricky just because of all of the archers here. They're a little less intense since the update, but do be warned, your durability will plummet. There's a fair few spawns here. You can find all three of both armorers and blacksmiths at this location, so it's definitely worth trying out your luck. There are a fair few little camps around here that you can pick off that also have armorers and blacksmiths at them that are dedicated spawns, as well as a few random spawn ones. At the sand spits is often a place I will find a decent blacksmith. Where is he? Just there. And you can also get a taskmaster just behind me. At Marauder's Muster, we have only a couple of thralls spread out pretty far and 2 random thrall spawns. So you could potentially get an armorer and a blacksmith, or 2 different named blacksmiths, etc. I usually don't mess with Voyager's Vigil unless I'm getting the bearers. Head on straight into the Nightmare Pit of Archers. Go down here. Alchemist spawns and stuff. Right in here, you're going to find a blacksmith straight away. Head on through all the way. Getting shot up as you go. Another blacksmith spawn, as well as a carpenter. Apparently we're mentioning carpenters and smelters now. Armorer spawn and carpenter spawn. Not 100% sure if they're not an anything spawn, though I think they are always an armorer and a carpenter. That guy, though, is an anything spawn. He can be an armorer, carpenter, etc. And I think this guy is always an armorer, and then we got dancers and bearers. Nothing but crazy fighters and taskmasters and things this way, and a cook and a dancer. So don't bother going that way. If you want to head on down, you can find a bunch of potential archpriests, another bearer and a cook, and some other random crap down there. Over the way, we have some more random thrall spawns. Back to some better, more reliable sources of your blacksmiths and armorers. Head on over to Freya's Hovel, and all of these camps around here generally have a bunch of blacksmiths, carpenters, and armorers at them. I'm not going to go to every single one of them. New Asgard has like 1 or 2 armorer spawns and maybe 1 blacksmith spawn and a couple of random spawns. I usually don't go thralling there at all unless I'm potentially looking for a Ymir Archpriest. But right here you can find berries, all the other guy whose name I can't remember, or basically can be any of the 3 in Nordheimerville, which is fun also. Just like the pirate ship Sapir Maru and the Nordheimers, these guys up at the volcano have a chance to be any of the 3, which is quite lovely. And there's a fair few random thing spawns. If you see devotees, they can also be a crafter thrall, but we do have some specific spawns. Just down from the Shrine of the Oracle, we have an armorer and a carpenter. Boop. A bit past them, there's a smelter and a taskmaster that's always there, but we won't bother looking at them closely. Down here, we have a taskmaster, which is Reza the Brutal. We love her. And go a bit, well, not down that one. Go a bit further down, and you can also find a tanner. Bit further down again, and we have another blacksmith and smelter spawn. Oh, we found a Dickus the Sharp wandering around. If you see him, get him just for novelty value. He used to be the best fighter in the game back in the day. We loved him. He's super rare and he's cool. If you're really desperate and can be bothered, you can make your way down here. I advise probably placing a wheel somewhere safety or have a very secure bridge, because you can't drag trolls across lava, they'll die. But there's lots of random spawns here. We gotta kiss this. Up on the stairs on either side, there's some, or at least there used to be a taskmaster. They may have taken her away. She wandered around and would wander into the lava all the time anyway. It may not seem like that worthy of a place because it's only the dogs of the desert, but it's an awful lot of thralls here. There's this guy here that you can get some cool stuff like more of the hyena or the doom hammer. You can learn the dance. You can get some archpriests. And there's a lot of random crafting thrall spawns. You can end up with all sorts of these cool guys, so it's definitely worth checking out some of the dog camps. Pretty much nothing shit to be had. Especially if you happen to be after a carpenter for your archery skills. Dogs, carpenters are a great grind. Those are really the only places I bother grinding at all for armorers and blacksmiths, as well as a couple of others that I chucked in for shits and gigs if you happen to be wandering past. But essentially the volcano, mounds of the dead, all around New Asgard, the den, and Seppumaru are really good places, as well as Sinner's Refuge and the Pagoda of Boundless Lust. And chuck in the Black Galleon for good measure. It's a little bit chaos there, but it used to be one of my most favorite places even before they added on all the different types of armorers and blacksmiths and carpenters and etc. Check out one of these next videos coming up for some more Conan Exiles tips and tricks. If you found this information informative, smash that like button. If you're not already, consider subscribing. It means a bunch. And until next time, I hope you have an excellent day, evening, night, morning, whatever it may be, wherever you may be. Have a good one.